Hey, what's up, folks? Hey, it's one thing I'm known for, well, maybe I'm known for, it's my deep love of mythology and modern day cinema and storytelling and media. And nothing has ever, the two film sagas and like fictional universes that have impacted me the most and how I view reality and how I view like aspiring for the hero's journey within us all is Star Wars. Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. And once again, Tolkien was brilliant. I respect a lot of what he told, a lot of his deep metaphysics I agree with. He's a tried Catholic, so history there that I don't want to go back into. But George Lucas, someone who studied all the religions, all the various myths, created a very deep metaphysical universe that told stories through rebel pilots, farm boys, fallen heroes, dark lords, evil, cosmic evil, prophecies, the cycle of father and son, and legends continued that. The cycle of Skywalker Saga is something that's mythic, and I love legends for that because the Skywalkers are so tied to the living force itself. And I think personally, the prophecy of the chosen one in legends applies to the Skywalker bloodline in general. Um, and no one's beyond redemption. Even at the darkest points in Star Wars, the light still prevails because there's good in all of us. As long as there's some good and hope in the universe, light will triumph over darkness, and I deeply believe that. And Return of the Jedi did that brilliantly with how Vader died to save his son, and he became human for one last time before he died. It's a deep message. And Legends, they kept that story going throughout the Skywalker bloodline, and it really resonated with me. There's always hope. The Rebel Alliance was built on hope, and the New Republic was the fulfillment of that hope, turned into a revived galactic democracy and freedom and joy and happiness and ideals came back to a galaxy that had almost lost those ideals because of a crushing militaristic fascist regime. Wow, sounds very familiar. Um, I'm not a fan of either two parties. Both of them are crushing us like you wouldn't believe. Um, but no, Star Wars inspired us with hope and the choices we make. And even Lucas, he been on several podcasts. And what makes a good person, what is good, what is evil, is joy versus instant gratification is what defines the light side and the dark side. Joy is finding peace and stability in the moment and not chasing after things that will just lead to. So, in his mind, happiness is a drug. Making happiness a pursuit of your life is a drug. And he's not going for some Jesus freak Catholic bullcrap. He's talking about like a deep psychological spiritual truth that joy is more grounded and more long lasting than like instant gratification and making that the goal of your life is chasing that next high, chasing that next dopamine. And that's really what the Force is in Star Wars, and it's a brilliant take on things. Am I bringing more love and joy into the world, or am I bringing more suffering and chaos and more instant gratification? And once again, there's a balance. But Lucas was really telling a really good story that really resonated with me, and I live by that. I mean, I'm a mix of a Buddhist and a Christian myself, like the glorious creator, like the maker himself. I'm like that. Um, but no, what good and evil are constantly at war in the cosmic universe, chaos and order, and there's a balance, and that's what the new Jedi Order was to a galaxy that had been torn apart by all these like evil regimes and these chaotic wars and mindless politics. The Jedi brought peace and balance back to the galaxy and freedom and democracy and balance, simplicity. In Lord of the Rings, we get into that. I mean, the whole point of Tolkien is evil was a hair's breadth from conquering the world and enslaving all of creation to literally Lucifer, a Luciferian demonic god. But you know what? The heroes held on no matter what. They fought for the good fight, and they fought for a world where there's still hope, there's still meaning, there's still spirituality, there's still humanity, and still good in the human soul, even when all the darkness of Mordor was destroying that goodness of the human soul, the goodness of creation. And Sam said wisely, there's still this world is so cruel and dark. But the stories that always inspired us were the heroes never let go of that hope and they kept on fighting to the end. Because they all knew there's some good left in this world and it's worth fighting for. And that's why the Lord of the Rings movies will always stand out to me. It's one of the greatest trilogies of all time. And also, if you read Tolkien's writings, the whole point is Morgoth and Solomon are trying to corrupt the world and turn it into orcs, demons, and dragons. They're all good and beauty and love in the universe created by the divine, and they want to corrupt it and twist it and make it look like the way they want it to be. Imperialism, demonic imperialism. But the good guys fight for nature. They fight for joy. They fight for love. They fight for the lighter aspects of the human soul, the good, the love, the joy. They fight against the dark imperialism of the demonic realm of Mordor, and I really resonate with that. And Gandalf, doing that freaking charge into the orcs at the end of Two Towers, which, by the way, is my favorite Lord of the Rings movie. Hot take. That's the best of the three. Um, or like how at the very end, Gollum slips off a rock because God intervenes and said, here's a little nudge, here's a little D20 roll that winds up overthrowing the entire demonic empire, which is so fucking good. I love that. Lord of the Rings gives us hope. Star Wars gives us hope. And they tell us that it's always a rebel few and those who fight against the conformity of darkness and the chaotic. What's the word I'm looking for? Apathy of a dark and caring universe. And they fight for higher ideals. And they, no matter the sacrifice, they make that ideal within themselves whole. They make that the reality of the world for the people they love and they care about. I mean, Sam retires and he becomes a dad. I mean, Frodo goes off into the new world and spends his days healed. I mean, there's so much deep spirituality in Lord of the Rings I really appreciate, and how there's joy at the end of this maddening war. How can everything go good when everything went so bad? And that's hope. That's post World War II era Western world. That's post COVID. That's post everything that's happened to us, and that's what the epoch is. For every dark cycle there's a light cycle that comes out of it, and then the darkness will come back and corrupt us in the middle of that light. It's a very cyclical cycle of love and joy and happiness and war and death, and they'll continue to the end of time or whenever that happens, whatever religion's right. I personally subscribe to Christianity, but I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what the end of the world or human race would look like, but Tolkien gave us hope. He really did. And Lucas really captured the hero's journey more than anyone. And that's the whole story of any Star Wars character. The weirdo, the farm kid, the swoop biker, the orphan on some desert planet who finds they have a great destiny. They join a crew of weirdos or a faction or some rebel alliance, some squad of Republic troopers. They go on this journey. They choose to leave behind the simple farm or working as a mechanic on Tatooine. They go on this journey, they learn these ancient secrets, they master their destiny, and they come face to face with the darkness within them, often a Sith Lord, or some evil Imperial bastard like Tarkin or Thrawn. And they wind up saving the galaxy, tempted by the very evil they hate within themselves and rising above it. Or they fall, like the emo sad boy that every Sith Lord comes from. Anakin Skywalker is every evil Dark Lord starts off as a whiny teenager. Okay, hot fucking take. But no, I mean, these stories inspire me more than most religions and most modern day philosophies ever will. Star Wars is philosophy. Star Wars is lore. It is religion. It is myth. So is Lord of the Rings. And they both have a very similar message that inspires us to be better. I think Star Wars is better than Tolkien did, because Star Wars is more inclusive and recognizing anyone can be a chosen one. Anyone can be touched by the divine to fight against the forces of evil. Anyone can be the hero of their own journey, no matter how small or big that is. And I really resonate with that message. I really do. Something that really resonated with Tolkien was how the little guy, the hobbits, the little simple small folk, are what keeps the forces of darkness at bay. Not great armies or great warriors, but simple folk living day-to-day lives of charity, love, kindness, and community, and putting smiles on people's faces. That's what combats the evils of the world, and not great noble knights. It's kindness, small acts of joy and happiness, and simplistic living that keeps the darkness of reality at bay. And I really resonate with how Peter Jackson and Tolkien both told us stories with their hobbits. I really did resonate with those stories. And they're true. I mean, as a progressive Christian, I love that kind of storytelling. I really do. Man. I mean, just the sheer brilliance of Peter Jackson in the films, I will never stop appreciating. And he brought Tolkien's vision to life. And I will continue to say this. Rings of Power is also a good display of the Silmarillion. I will die on that hill. They're both valid to me. Call me a fucking woke SJW all you want, because I'm not. But that shit still is deeply inspiring. Um, the only forms of like, I mean, the thing I loved about Two Towers, aside from Sam's speech, which is just epic, was darkness comes an inch away from victory, but it's the hobbits that save the world. It's the little short guys like getting high off weed and like writing books and pondering this philosophies of Middle Earth that wind up saving the world. It was the little philosophy nerds who got stoned. Hell fucking yeah. Those are the guys God chose to save the world, inspire people just by being simplistic, loving, and kind. And I really resonate with that message of Tolkien. I really do. Um, it inspires us. Even when the darkness seems like there's no hope, there's still some good left in this world, and it's worth fighting for. And both Tolkien and Lucas understood that. They understood there's always good in something worth fighting for to the end of time. The great abyss solves everything up. But even then, every black hole can become a white hole if you follow like astrophysics. At the end of every black hole is a white hole. So think about it that way. And then there's Buffy. Buffy was also a show I really resonated with. The nerdy weirdos who face the forces of hell, the Hellmouth, the demons of the abyss, and they got together and they worked together as a team and fought against the endless hordes of the demonic, the vampire, and things that go bump in the night. And I also really resonate with Buffy. It was a really good way of telling the hero's journey through the eyes of a teenage girl, and she was a really good character. She really captured that entire cast just captured the nerdy weirdos who have Wiccan powers, divine god weapons to slay and fight demons. That's just cool shit to me, okay? That shit's just cool, man. It's inspiring. Buffy's one of the most inspiring. They're the most inspiring group of like nerdy weirdos saving the world trope. They created that trope, and I love them for it. Everything from magicians to Charmed. All in all, Star Wars, Buffy, and Lord of the Rings show us the cast of weirdos and freaks who have faith in themselves and higher powers, and they have faith that the world can be better and there's something bigger than all of us that's a true loving divine force in the universe who uses the small folk, uses the geeks and freaks to save the world from the dark evil empires and demonic armies of the abyss, and I resonate with that. Even Rise of Skywalker, that very ending where Rey taps into the Force and she feels the power of every Jedi who's ever come before her. Fill her with their power to fight against the true embodiment of the eternal Sith. Palpatine's an inch away from destroying the last remnants of the Republic and the Resistance. The Sith are ready to be reborn, a new dark empire that would rule the stars. Hell fucking yeah, it gave me hard just thinking about it. But no, Rey taps into the Force and feels the power of every great Jedi that's ever come before her, and she deflects all the hatred of the Sith back at it and destroys it once and for all. And I love that about Rise of Skywalker, that duel between Palpatine and Rey, the ultimate expressions of good and evil, and how good just throws evil, just deflects all the hatred back at evil, and evil destroys itself. It's a good metaphor for the Jedi Sith conflict. It really is. And I really respect how out of that scene from Rise of Skywalker. Not the final ending. The final ending was shit, but that final battle in the immediate aftermath, I will always love to this day. Best part of the sequel trilogy, if you ask me. Um, but yeah, Rise of Skywalker is probably the best of the sequel trilogy, which isn't saying much, but it's still better than the shit that came before it. Um, just the Jedi Sith conflict finally reaching its final end in cinematic form, I really enjoyed. There's some things I still hate about it, but once again, Palpatine, Ian McDermott, I think his name is, the guy who plays Palpatine, fantastic acting. on his part. The Sith occultism is fucking metal as hell. I wish they made Rey into a sexy Sith like Concubine with Force abilities. Like, man, that'd been hot. Goth Sith Rey in a heavy metal bikini. Hell yeah, I would love that. But no, I mean, it's better than the rest of the trilogy. But I would still recommend people get into Legends over the sequel trilogy. You want a mythology that has endless heroines, endless chosen ones, and just heroes of every kind, and villains of every kind, and heroes' journeys of every kind, and all sorts of cool conflicts and worlds and missions and cultures and religions and prophecy. It's just read Star Wars Legends. That shit slaps, and it's a great story. Once again, Star Wars Legends is probably one of my favorite expressions of space fantasy monomyth on display. Legends is full of great female characters and heroes that rise from nothing, inspire all of us, and save the galaxy with their crew of weirdos and misfits. Legends is worth it. But I guess in closing, folks, the core themes of Tolkien and Lucas and other shows to other extents, true sci-fi and fantasy inspires us with hope that even when darkness is destroying any form of life and joy in the universe, you have the ability in the spark within you of the divine of love and kindness to fight against that evil and spread love and kindness in a world that's been destroyed by hatred and darkness. And there's always hope to rebuild civilization, to rebuild relationships, and to be the person you were put on this earth to be. God bless, folks. Till next time, stay sane. Fuck Disney. And I fucking hate the new Star Trek. Till next time, folks. Peace.